Welcome back to Headstone Chronicles, where the headstone tells a story. Today, let's look at the late, great Jimi Hendrix. You know, he was in the military. He was airborne. How did he get there? Well, apparently he trashed a couple of hotel rooms like the band The Who. And he had a suitcase that had drugs in it. And he said, I didn't put him there, somebody else put him there, didn't even know about it. But the judge says you can either go to jail or go into the armed forces. So he became airborne. He wasn't necessarily a good military man, but he was a great guitarist. One of the world's best. In those days, Chet Atkins, John McLaughlin, and Jimi Hendrix, and the like. These are the ones that created the future of guitar players that are today. Today, let's take a look at the late, great Jimi Hendrix. In the early morning hours of September 18th, 1970, the great Jimi Hendrix was discovered unconscious at the Samarkand Hotel apartment of his girlfriend, Monika Dannemann, located at 22 Lansdowne Crescent in the Notting Hill area of London, England. The scene was grim. He was laying on his back, still in bed. His head was turned to the side, and he was unresponsive. With his airways hopelessly blocked by a massive quantity of red wine-stained vomit that had poured from his nose and mouth, saturating the bedclothes and his hair. Despite his girlfriend frantically calling an ambulance and a paramedic attempting resuscitation en route to the hospital, Hendrix was pronounced dead at St. Mary Abbot Hospital at 12:45 p.m., having never regained consciousness. The official inquiry ruled his death an accident, citing asphyxiation due to inhalation of gastric content, vomit, while heavily intoxicated with barbiturates, with the specific sequence of events suggesting he took more of the sleeping pills than his body could tolerate, causing him to vomit while unconscious and suffocate.
The Jimi Hendrix experience is over. The acid rock musician died today in a London hospital, apparently from an overdose of drugs. During his short career, Hendrix flailed his electric guitar into some of the most unusual sounds of an unusual music. A report now from ABC's Gregory Jackson.
If you're much over 30, the odds are you never heard of Jimi Hendrix, or only dimly, perhaps a loud voice on the car radio. But take it for fact, in just the past 4 years, Jimi Hendrix became one of the best-known, highest-paid artists in recording history. An astonishing performer whose on-stage gyrations could make Elvis Presley look like a PE teacher. And it may well be that the story of Jimi Hendrix is a small picture of the overall explosive power and wealth of rock. The son of a Seattle gardener, James Marshall Hendrix quit school at 16, but before he was 20, he was touring the country as a backup guitarist for other rock groups. In 1966, a manager discovered him in a Greenwich Village bar, took him to Europe, formed a group, and just 9 months later, Jimi Hendrix returned world famous.
On January 4th, 1968, following a concert, Jimi Hendrix was arrested at his hotel for vandalism after damaging his room in an intoxicated state. The altercation resulted in a severe hand injury requiring hospital treatment, which temporarily impaired his ability to perform. A Swedish court tried Hendrix on January 16, 1968, convicting and fining him 3,200 Swedish crowns for the property damage. This incident, stemming from a documented hotel disturbance, represents one of his several documented legal encounters. The arrest and conviction are a matter of international public record. Before he was a rock god, Hendrix was a young man facing a legal ultimatum to avoid a prison sentence for riding in a stolen car on 2 occasions. He was given a choice, jail or the Army. He enlisted in the 10th Airborne Division in 1961. He earned his Screaming Eagles badge as a paratrooper, making 26 successful jumps. However, his commanding officer reported he was a terrible soldier who slept while on duty, neglected to clean his rifle, and was constantly fantasizing about his guitar. He was honorably discharged after just 1 year of service. Jimi Hendrix was a keen songwriter and lyricist. While known for his explosive covers, Hendrix was a prolific and thoughtful songwriter. His lyrics were often filled with mystical, almost childlike imagery of sophisticated themes of love, cosmology, and social commentary. The pages of his personal notebook reveal not just chords, but detailed poems, drawings, and fully formed lyrical concepts for songs, showing a deeply intellectual and creative mind at work before the fretboard. He was a left-handed guitarist, but not entirely. While he famously played left-hand guitar, flipping a guitar upside down and restrung it, Hendrix wrote with his right hand and only played guitar with his left. This unique adaptation may have contributed to his technique, as the wrong orientation of the guitar's body and controls forced him to develop entirely new ways of manipulating the instrument, including his innovative use of the vibrato bar. His final and most ambitious project was never finished. In the months before his death, Hendrix was groaning weary of the wild man of rock. He was deeply immersed in building a state-of-the-art recording studio, Electric Ladyland Studios in New York, and was planning a new, more expansive musical direction. He spoke of a concert album, or even a double album, to be called First Rays of the New Rising Sun, which would feature more complex arrangements and fuller, less powered trio-oriented sounds. He recorded extensive demos and tracks, but the vibrato bar, His final and most ambitious project was never finished. He recorded extensive demos and tracks, but the project was never completed due to his death. He was quite proficient in the studio. The wild stage performer was a meticulous craftsman in the studio. He was an early pioneer of multi-track recording, often layering dozens of guitar parts to create a rich symphonic soundscapes. For the song Gypsy Eyes, he reportedly recorded over 50 takes before he was satisfied. This painstaking attention to detail stands in stark contrast to his reputation for chaotic live performances and revealed a disciplined artist dedicated to his sonic visions. The final week of Jimi Hendrix's life, from September 12th to the 18th of 1970, was full of legal pressures, romantic entanglements, and artistic uncertainty. His primary companion was Monika, with whom he stayed at her apartment in London. On September 17th, after a day of shopping and writing, Hendrix attended a party without his girlfriend, and in the early hours of September 18th, a distressed Hendrix returned to the hotel. According to the sole account of Monika, she made him a tuna sandwich, and they went to sleep. Monika stated that around 6 a.m., Hendrix, still awake, took several of her prescribed sleeping pills. The coroner report would later detail the fatal sequence. The potential barbiturates, combined with the wine in his system, caused him to lose consciousness. While in a deep, drug-induced coma, he experienced violent vomiting, flooding with a suffocating mixture of red wine and partially digested food that he was unable to clear out of his throat. Jimi Hendrix's girlfriend's contradictory testimonies have fueled persistent speculation. A separate theory, alleged by roadie James Tappy Wright, claims Hendrix's manager, Mike Jeffrey, confessed to murdering Jimi Hendrix to collect his life insurance policy. The official inquest, however, based on the autopsy, which found no evidence of foul play, recorded a verdict of death by misadventure, concluding he accidentally killed himself through an overdose of barbiturates. The theory alleging that Jimi Hendrix was murdered was publicly advanced by James Tappy Wright, a former roadie and associate of Jimi Hendrix's manager, Michael Jeffrey. In his 2009 book, Rock Roadie, Wright claimed that Jeffrey confessed to him in 1971 that he had orchestrated Jimi's death. The alleged motive was to collect a life insurance policy worth approximately $2 million at the time, for which Jeffrey was the sole benefactor. Wright's account suggests that individuals working for Jeffrey intervened on the night of Hendrix's death, forcing the ingestion of additional pills and wine to ensure fatal outcome. The established timeline and inquest findings present a different narrative from Wright's book. His final hours, on the night of September 17, 1970, Hendrix was at the London flat of his girlfriend Monika. Reports indicate that he consumed wine and allegedly took some barbiturates, his girlfriend's prescription sleeping pills. His girlfriend found Hendrix unconscious and unresponsive, noting he was covered in vomit. There was a documented delay in seeking medical help. She first telephone called acquaintances before an ambulance was summoned. Jimi Hendrix was pronounced dead on arrival at St. Mary Abbott's Hospital in London at 12:45. The ambulance crew that transported him noted the circumstances of his condition at the scene. The coroner had said it was an accidental death resulting from a voluntary risk. The official cause of death was listed as aspiration of gastric contents, inhaling vomit due to an overdose of sleeping pills. The coroner's report noted that the amount of barbiturates found in his system was within the range of legitimate prescription, but the interaction with alcohol and the specific circumstances led to a fatal outcome. While Wright's allegations in his book is a matter of public record, its credibility is heavily debated by historians, biographers, and investigators due to several key factors. Wright's account is an uncorroborated, second-hand confession alleged to have occurred 41 years prior. No other witnesses or evidence have emerged to substantiate the claim that Jeffrey made this confession. All other principal figures involved were deceased when he made those claims. Despite extensive probate and biographical investigations, no evidence of a $2 million life insurance policy on Hendrix's life, with Michael Jeffrey as benefactor, has ever been discovered. While Jeffrey was known for his controversial business practices, the murder for insurance theory presents a flawed financial move. Hendrix was an immensely profitable touring and recording artist. A dead Hendrix would cease generating new income, while a living one promised continuous long-term revenue. A one-time insurance payment, even a large one, may not have been more lucrative than his ongoing earning potential. The primary source for the events of that night, Monika, providing multiple conflicting accounts over the years, making the established timeline difficult to confirm and undermining the clarity of the official record. Michael Jeffrey was a figure with a shadowy background, while fueling speculation does not constitute proof of murder. So based on the available public evidence, the official verdict of death by misadventure remains the most documented and legally recognized explanation for Jimi Hendrix's death. The theory presented by James Wright is a significant part of the Hendrix lore, but it is considered unsubstantiated by the majority of the credible sources due to the absence of key corroborating witnesses and the failure to prove the alleged financial move. The tragedy is most widely understood as an accident overdose and delayed medical intervention. And there you have it, folks. The late, great Jimi Hendrix. I have a lot of problems with the final descriptions of his death because, why so much wine in his lungs? Got a problem with that. He was investing at the time, so he didn't try to off himself. So why so much of the pills that his girlfriend gave him? Why did her story change? Her story changed 2 or 3 times. Why would it change? And he spent all of his money on Electric Ladyland Studios. Why? Because he was building something for the future. A lot of questions, and I hope the ones that I gave you here today, those are pretty much the facts of what they know for sure, you know, without the fluff. But I'm glad that you have joined me here today at Headstone Chronicles. I do appreciate you. And I ask if you could, if you would, grant us a tip today. In the description area there is a tip jar if you feel led to do so and help Headstone Chronicles go into the future. It's a brand new baby site, and we did get a donation in the tip jar. First one already done. Please don't wait for others to do it. Well, others will do this. That's all it is. So I would appreciate it. Would you do that? Could you do that? At least, at the very least, like, subscribe, thumbs up, and tell a friend. That's the biggie too. Would you do that? I would thank you in advance. And I do. Until next time, I'll see you next time here at Headstone Chronicles.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.